Oh, why is your channel called Improper Engineering? Do you know why, Aria? No. Why? Well, let me tell you. Do you see this? This is a GoPro mount, zip tied and duct taped on top of a vacuum. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is how my GoPro was sitting there. I don't have any mounts for the GoPro. Well, I have a gun mount, but I'm not gonna use that for this for obvious reasons. But I have duct tape, I have zip ties, and I have hot glue. But wait, there's more! And a Prusa 3D printer. I could probably print one. Ah, oh well. Hey, this is Cody, the Improper Engineer, and I wanted to show off some of the prints of the Prusa now that I've had it for a week and I've printed a ton. At least what I feel like is a ton. I don't know how long I have on it. So far, I've printed 3 days and 16 hours. I guess it's not too bad for really having it up for less than a week, actually. It's awesome. I love that printer. I will say this, if I would have went with that before the Wano or the Monoprice, whatever you want to call it, then I probably wouldn't know as much about them because I wouldn't have had to fidget with it. I messed with that Wano so much. You know, I printed all the mods. I took it apart. It was damaged. When I got it, it was damaged. UPS had dropped it and bent it. So after printing with it for a while, I took the whole thing apart, straightened it as best as I possibly could. I made all the braces that I could. I was even going to go as far as to have the existing metal pieces on it laser cut into 3/16 steel. But I'm so glad I did it because no other print that I've ever done has ever came as close to the one that I get with the Prusa. It's excellent, fantastic printer. You're thinking about getting one? Get it. You know, I don't have many printers to test with. In fact, I've got the Wano and I've got the Prusa. So I can't necessarily compare it to the other ones, but I can go off of the reviews of the other big YouTubers, and I don't think you're going to find a better FDM printer for the price. Definitely not for the price, but I don't think there's a better one in the market. It did win Make Magazine's #1 printer of the year, so that's awesome. Shout out to Joel for his help. I messed with trying to get the power supply straightened for way too long, and that's what took me so long to build this stinking thing. Until I messaged or commented on something of his on Facebook, and he said, just bolt it up, it's fine. So, thank you. No, high five. Without further ado, let's go over some prints. Right, so, what does every bulldog need? Every single bulldog that you ever came across in life, what we like, this is exactly what he needs. You don't remember? It was a top hat. Especially when they have no ears, you gotta use a top hat to hide the ears. See, look, you never know that he has no ears. So, this right here is Fred. Fred is incredibly classy. He's got more class than I've got. As you can see, this thing came out incredibly well. As the lines are just amazing on this. I'm constantly blown away by the Prusa. And the only thing that I didn't like on this is this underside right here. That's where the supports were, and they I don't know, I don't like how it doesn't do a clean surface with the supports. Well, it came out great, and nobody's ever going to see the underside of this, so this works. This gets the thumbs up. Alright, the next thing that I printed on this is this dragon right here, and I wasn't too impressed with this. I also didn't change any settings. I took the exact same G-code that I was using previously on the Wano. I'm still using the accent. I'm sorry. I was still using the same settings that I had on the Wano, and it didn't come out too well. You can see the layers, the different layer lines on it. Here on the wings, it didn't come out too well. I was not impressed with this print, but This specific model you can get with or without built-in supports, and this one had built-in supports, and I tried it without supports and I generated my own and it came out great. So this is with the supports. This was the second print I did of it. This was fantastic. The lines are great. I probably could have cleaned it up a little bit and made it look better, but there is no need to. I love the way this came out. And I only did 10% infill. I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, but the way that the infill was, looks like it's part of his scales. So that came out great. And I love printing these dragons. These I've been using for bench testing because, well, if you look, I have a whole collection of these things. And the reason, well, first of all, when I first saw the file, I was like, oh, these dragons are awesome. And then when I realized that my Wanho didn't print them very well, I figured I could use them for benchmarking. So I've got a bunch of fails. A couple of these came out okay on the Wanho. Nothing to go home and brag about. I am at home. Nothing to brag about though. Yeah, this one's a mess. I believe that this was the best one that I had come out. It's pretty bad. So the next thing that I printed was the TriCAD that is already on the SD card when you get it. I don't know any of the settings on it, but this came out great. I think it took about 4 hours to print, but it is phenomenal. I mean, I could keep talking all day about how great these prints are coming out. I'm sorry guys, I'm so happy that I have a printer that does so well after the Wanho giving me so many problems. It's such a relief. Next, I've got these lights. These are art pieces, but you can also put LEDs in the bottom of them to light them up. And I also use glow-in-the-dark filament. And the glow-in-the-dark filament that I've got is just cheap stuff. It came with my Wanho. I bought it used. It came with the Wanho. But I think I finally have a sweet spot found. And when I printed this big one, I was not at all impressed with the way that this came out. Like you can see, the layers didn't adhere. Also, I printed upside down. So you can, like, there's a big gap right there, and I was just a little bit upset with this print. I haven't tried it again because this was a 20-hour print, and I hate waiting sometimes, especially when I first get the printer, because I'm just wanting to print all kinds of stuff. So I haven't given this another try, but I will eventually. I did do a small version of it, and the smaller version came out much, much better. There's very few blemishes on this. This is one that I could probably pick the parts out like this that are hanging down, and I could probably throw an LED in it and it would be fine. Alright, so my last thing that I was printing was, or the last thing that I have to show off, the last two things are the same thing. It's again another dragon because you can't have enough baby dragons. This was my first try at PETG, and I probably got a little bit too cocky because of how good the printer was printing. I did very little research on it, just changed the extruder temp and the bed temp and put it in there. 20 hours into it, and I came home to this. So it's kind of upsetting. After doing some researching and talking to some of the guys in the Facebook group, I got some other stuff I'm going to try, or some settings I'm going to try to change, and I think I'll be able to get it fine. It came out, up until it messed up, it didn't do too bad. It would have looked really cool. I'll print it again eventually. But I did print a smaller one afterwards, just to see if I could print PETG. And again, this one came out great. So here's the first one. Really pretty translucent blue. And here is the second one. This one is just, I love the coloring on this. This might be one of my favorite colors to print in, and I'm going to keep working with this to get my settings absolutely perfect, because I think I would rather print this than I would ABS, especially with all the trouble that people keep saying that they have with ABS. But this one came out pretty good. I could still change some things. Like I said, I'm still going to tweak, going to get some better prints out of this, and hopefully do a bigger version. Alright guys, I think that's it for today. Sorry about the lighting. I know the lighting's terrible. I'll eventually get some lights and a different camera. I'm using the GoPro this time. Last time I was using my phone. So maybe I need to get a different camera, some better lights. So yeah, any suggestions? Let me know.